I need to check myself because I was expecting Dirty Pop, a boy band scandal, to be like an expose on Lou Pearlman as some sort of child molester, only to find out that it was not that's not what it was about. There were some incidences of him incidents wait, of him being inappropriate and kind of creepy. But no, it was about the big Ponzi scheme he was running. So I was a little disappointed that it wasn't about him being a child molester, and that's bad. I'm just that desensitized from all the dark true crime that I watch that I was like, oh, it's just this financial stuff, whatever. So yeah, I've already recorded this. I've already fully recorded. I was almost done editing it. You're getting this later than the intended time of 3 p.m. on Thursday, like I said I was going to do. But I'm not even kidding you guys. I did such a bad job talking about this because I kind of like didn't care. If it's not going to be about the victims of Lou Pearlman from the boy band era, and it's just about all this really convoluted Ponzi scheme he was running, I was like, I really don't care. So I was trying to edit this thing together, but I was like, you just need to record it again. But then I sat down to record it again and was like, I don't care. And now it's 2:45 and I'm supposed to get an episode out to you guys. And I'm like, I'm not, I have nothing else prepared but pages of notes about this guy's Ponzi scheme. And I just don't really fucking care. Long story short, this guy was a bad guy. Lou Pearlman, he started forging driver's permits when he was in high school. He's been a con man from the beginning. He gets involved with a former Nazi fighter and he's Jewish. That guy starts manufacturing blimps for him. He then crashes all these blimps. This is Airship International. He crashes all these blimps to claim the insurance money on it, uses that insurance money to fund the Backstreet Boys NSYNC stuff. But that money runs out. So then he started up this Ponzi scheme where he's like, "Yeah, I'm an investment company. I know what to invest your money in." This young kid, Frankie, invests all of his mom's money. His mom, Julia, who we meet in the docuseries. So all of her money's gone. Frankie, he invested all he could into Lou Pearlman. But then at first it's all great because Lou Pearlman's got NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and he's pretending like he's got all of this money. And then he's using those investments to fund this shit. It's very Tom Girardi is what it reminds me of. Also, there's mafia ties. Airship International went public, and it was like all unbeknownst to one of the friends that's interviewed Jerry, this wise guy Jerry, who also ends up in legal trouble himself. There's mafia ties that are invested in Airship International. It's very convoluted. It goes back really far. There's a lot of victims of Lou. The boy band connection, though, is when NSYNC and Backstreet sued to get out of their contract, it's because they realized that Lou was cutting himself in for like the same amount of money that they were getting. So yes, he was paying for their homes or not their homes, but he was like letting them live with him on this like compound basically and giving them dance lessons and singing lessons and whatever, all this stuff. He felt that he was owed the exact same money they were getting when they were doing different jobs, like commercials and things. So when he gave them their NSYNC their first check for $10,000, JC was like, no. And so that's how that lawsuit came about because they're like, we got to get out of this contract. And they settled for like $64 million to get out of they just wanted to get out of the contract. That's a lot of fucking money. So Lou Pearlman's got all this money. He's got these fake investments happening where he's taking their money and using it where it shouldn't be used. And eventually all of this comes crashing down, obviously. Someone's like, this transcontinental investing isn't looking so right. This doesn't make sense. And then everyone wants their money out of transcontinental, but he doesn't have the money to give them back, including Frankie, his good friend Frankie, who he totally screws. His mom's out of money. And eventually Frankie and Lou get in a big fight. And the next thing you know, Frankie's gone by alleged suicide, but there's questions around that. Lou's taken down. He gets 25 years. big fraudster guy, and then he dies in prison. That's all I can really muster up. I was like, this was a very misleading documentary. It really was painted like there was going to be a lot more to do with the boy bands. Yes, it was bad. And yes, one of the boy band guys, Natural, who I don't remember Natural at all. I don't remember any of their music. That band, don't remember them at all. It's crazy. One of the or two of them actually, but one of the guys from that band that got really involved with Lou's other businesses and was questioned in the investigation and all that. But NSYNC and Backstreet, they're out of it. Like after episode 2, halfway through them, like, okay, so then they get out of their contract. Okay, so he's okay. And then it was all about Lou and his financial crimes. And it was devastating to see what he did to these people. He took all of their savings, and by the time they find out, it's too late. They can't get their money back because they're older. So there were a ton of victims, and it was awful. But I genuinely was like, I don't need to talk about this guy. This is all I can muster up. I know you're going to get really mad at me, but I promise I will do a better true crime episode next week. But I was like, this episode, I was trying to edit together the first recording. I was like, this is terrible, Emily. Like, you're not even making I was like, I couldn't piece it together. I didn't care. So I know this does not count as an episode, and I don't think it does. I just needed to put something up because I did try. I spent hours yesterday taking notes and following, and I've spent a few hours already trying to edit together the episode, only to go, this is just bad. I can't put this out. It's just bad. So I owe you an episode. Don't worry, I will not count this. I'm ashamed, but this is I gotta keep it real. I was like, do I just not do anything? No, I got to give him something. Yes, I did try. But anyway, next week, I'm going to cover probably Worst Roommate Ever on Netflix because that had some funny, or not funny, that's fucked up, but it had some good stuff in it. But if you have a request, please let me know. Either message me or leave a comment on YouTube or in Patreon. Or I have the schedule pinned on Instagram. You can leave a comment there too. Nice way to stay organized. But sorry, guys. I blame Netflix and the way they advertise this. Okay. All right, guys. Love ya. Mean it. Sorry.